So this is just a short follow-up video to the lesson on ledger lines, showing that exactly the same thing happens when we need to extend any other type of clef, and we'll be looking here at the bass clef. You'll remember back to when we were learning the names of the lines and spaces on the bass clef that the top line on this clef is an A. Good boys deserve fresh apples. But exactly the same way that we did with the treble clef, it's possible to extend this to include more notes, higher and lower than the ones shown by the lines and spaces. Here we have an A, the top line of the bass clef, but if we want to go higher than this, it's obviously possible for us to move this up so that it sits on a space directly above this top line. This is a B. If we want to go one note higher, just like in the treble clef, we'll need to add the first ledger line. So let's do that now. So with that line in place, we have our C. This is middle C again, that sits exactly between the lines and spaces of the treble clef and the bass clef. But if it's more convenient, like we're writing for the cello, which normally uses the bass clef, we can carry on going higher and include many of the notes used by the treble clef as well. For example, moving this note up a little bit more gives us a D. And this is an E. Exactly the same E and exactly the same pitch as the first line on the treble clef. Finally, let's have a look at the same thing happening as we extend downwards beyond the lines and spaces of the bass clef. As we know, this bottom line is a G. Good boys deserve fresh apples. Good. This is a G. But we could always go lower than this, and so if we move this note down, this becomes an F, as the note before G is an F. We can carry on going through E, D and C, just like this. Here's our E on the first ledger line, and if we move this note downwards, we'll get a D that sits underneath the first ledger line. And the pattern continues, so next we need another line. And with that in place, we have our C. This is quite a useful note to know because it's the bottom string of a cello. This C is the lowest note that a cello can play. So now I'm absolutely sure that you understand what ledger lines are and how they work. But what's important now is to go away and practice reading them.